Go. All right. I hope you all had a wonderful day, and I hope you all are having a great weekend. I am back to once again read the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous because I feel it's very important, as do many other people. All right. The 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. Number one, we admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. Number two, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Number three, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Number four, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Number five, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Number six, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Number seven, we humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. Number eight, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Number nine, we made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Number 10, we continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Number 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Number 12, having had a spiritual awakening, as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. All right. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about number 5, which is we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. And honestly, geez, how do I even say this? I've been spending like the last almost 6 years trying to process all the things that went down when I was strung out on drugs. And that's a tough one. Yeah, I was really nice, when I was on drugs, almost too nice, but there were also things that I did that were really, really bad. So, just being able to come to terms with what I've done and move on and forgive myself, I think that's been tougher than me trying to forgive others. You know what I mean? Because, it's like I let myself down, I let everybody else down, I let my family down, I let my kids down. Yeah, it really is hard to process. However, like I said, I have a support system. I have people that I talk to about what's going on, other people in recovery. And that does help. It helps a lot. Also, prayer. That helps a lot. And, I know that I'm not where I'm supposed to be right now, but what's that saying? Thank God I'm not where I used to be. And I'll just be like going, about my day, and I'll be having these really like weird, flashbacks. Like this one that I really remember. Okay, well, I probably should do the disclaimer now. The things I'm about to say may be triggering for some people. If you feel that you don't want to hear what I have to say, then you might want to sit this one out. Okay, so I had this random thought of when, I was just really just strung out on meth, right? Went into the hospital because, I was, like hanging around the streets of Tacoma, Washington, right? Went to Tacoma General Hospital. And those of you from Tacoma know exactly where that is. It's on Hilltop in, near downtown Tacoma. So I remember just, having done a lot of drugs, went into the ER, and it's like when you walk into the ER, on the right-hand side is this huge tank with all these different pretty, tropical fish, right? That's on the right. And then you can go around that tank, and then you can, go and, sign in with the staff that's up at the, at the front desk. So you can either, take a right, or you can sit off to the left because they're seating there. Like if you're there with somebody, you're going to sit down and, the person you're with are going to go up and register or whatever, right? Well, I was so messed up that I staggered into the ER and then just plopped right down on the floor right by that fish tank. Yeah, and I remember a security guard coming over and he's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm fine." Yeah, I wasn't fine. In fact, at that precise moment, I was thinking I was on an alien spacecraft. It's like, wow, there's plastic here. It kind of looks like a scene from, E.T. or Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I mean, that's how messed up my head was, you know what I mean? And that's just one of many just bizarre scenarios. And people, they say they don't believe in God, and that's whatever. You're entitled to believe or not believe whatever you feel like. That's what free will is all about. But all I can say is that if it weren't for God, and I've said this many times, if it weren't for God, I would not be still breathing, like at all. I mean, it just makes me cringe. A lot of cringe-worthy moments in my life, but I cringe thinking of all the danger that I put myself in because of, my drug addiction. I mean, just, nightmare scenarios in motels with random people who have loaded guns and drugs. I was in a motel with these people one time, and this dude came busting in to that motel with a gun, and he was, holding the gun on this one gal that was there, and he was threatening her and stuff. And because at that point in my life, I didn't even care anymore, so I literally went up to this dude and introduced myself. Here, he's holding a loaded gun on somebody else and threatening him, and I walked up to him and said, "Hey, hi, I'm Deborah, how you doing?" Just stupid, just, oh man, off the wall things. Yeah, yeah, just crazy. And, I'm very grateful to be where I am now. And, even now, though, I struggle with depression. I always have. Clinical depression runs in the family. It is what it is, right? And I don't ever want anyone to think that because I suffer from depression, that I'm not grateful for everything that God has given me back. I'm very grateful. I mean, I'm beyond grateful. He pulled me out of the gutter when I was pretty sure that I wasn't coming back. And like I said, if I can do it, you can do it too. You just have to want it bad enough. Nobody can make you do anything. You have to do it because you want to do it. You can't get clean and sober for your spouse. You can't get clean and sober for your kids. You can't get clean and sober for your best friends. It has to be you. You have to want to do it because you realize that you are the one that has value. You have value. So you want to change. You want to live a better life because you know you deserve better. Yeah. And the irony of it is just bizarre because, like years ago, I was always judging other people. I mean, for crying out loud, I worked for St. Vincent de Paul in Port Orchard for 9 years. And all kinds of people were coming in there, all kinds of people with all kinds of problems. And, leave it to me to be judging people who were struggling with addiction. People who were homeless. People who, weren't doing good. And I'll tell you right now, I literally had absolutely no right to be judging those people and making fun of them. Because it's almost like God was like, okay, so you're going to make fun of these people and judge them? Okay, guess what? And it didn't take very long for me to become one of those people that I was judging so much. That's why it always makes me cringe when I go on Facebook or even here on YouTube and I see people making fun of people who are down on their luck or who have made bad decisions. I mean, don't think that that's not going to come back on you, and it may not even be, you may not end up in a situation like the people that you're making fun of, but I can guarantee you what's that saying? What goes around comes around. But if you're my ex-brother-in-law, he had a tendency to say, oh yeah, well, you can do whatever you want to. There's no consequences for anything you do. There's no such thing as karma. There's no such thing as divine retribution, none of it. You can do whatever you want, which, is a pretty asinine way to see the world, or to see, yourself. Like, oh, it's okay to treat people horribly, and to, do a bunch of dirty things to others or to yourself or whatever. That's just, asinine and just ridiculous. All right, before I go, I need to give that phone number. I think I'm going to post it on my Facebook page too. It's the substance abuse and addiction hotline, and they're there 24/7. The number is 1-844-289-0879. That's 1-844-289-0879. So if you or someone you know is struggling, call that number, or give them the number to call if it's a friend or a family member. But like I said, as much as you may want and need your loved one to get clean and sober because you see it, they're hurting themselves and destroying their lives, there's nothing you can do about it. They have to want it. They have to want to change. And that's the hardest thing, is when people, ask me, well, hey, what did you do? How did you get clean and sober? How are you staying clean and sober? Like I said, it was God. Lots and lots of prayer, lots of support, and lots of grace. I've been given way more grace than I have ever deserved. Mercy, too. I've been given way too much of that, more than I could ever, more than I ever deserved. And, for that, I'm very, very grateful. Yeah. Okay. So that being said, I will talk to you all another time. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. My goal is to end June with 1,000 subscribers. It's absolutely free to subscribe. Yeah, well, have a wonderful weekend, everybody. I'll talk to you another time. God bless you all. Bye-bye.